Okay, we're going to look at further ideas on how to design characters and looking at expression and where to get ideas and inspiration to create your story of your comic book character. So some of the things you might want to do with your students is really encourage going to the library, get lots of ideas. There's heaps of books out there there's different comic book characters that they can practice drawing the expressions. The other thing is once they do get an idea, is to keep some of these ideas in a scrapbook and have an idea bank so that they can draw off of ideas that they've previously come across. And funny enough, in your dreams, also, if you do drawing enough, you'll start drawing in your dreams, and you can wake up and oh, that would be an interesting angle, or but dreams, funny enough, are sort of on the surrealist side of taking some, where your imagination is sitting, and it really is just all about getting those imaginative juices going. So with characters, it's really about doing a very simple character, very simple lines. They're always outlined in black, and a simple distortion of some part of the body. What you could do is do a quick draw of a person. So with your students, you could get them to draw you, or I wouldn't suggest drawing each other, especially in the early grades, because some kids don't really appreciate it, even in high school, really. But get them to, could be a parent or, so get them to draw a quick sketch or get a photograph, and then work from there on distorting the image. So you remove the details, so it's really just a simple drawing. Then you go into your realms of your imagination and you look at expression and the physicality of what you're going to distort, what sort of features are you going to distort. And it's also important to make the drawing very rounded and smooth. When you get to the later stages, comic book characters are usually bright colors, so you can use your fill bucket and fill, get the character with the clothing. And so it's really a way of you're conveying a concept about this character. You're not trying to make it lifelike. Okay, then you could also, with your students, you could get them to look in a mirror and do as many different contorting expressions as they can. And this is really quite an interesting activity, is you see yourself in different ways. So just remember that you use just a few lines, and that you're starting to exaggerate to get a particular emotion out of a character. So I've done two here, and this one, he's bored or he's tired, and it's exaggerated by his mouth and his hands coming up. His head's sort of going up and he's looking for air. And this one is sort of like my flirtatious Martian woman, and I've exaggerated her eyes, but made everything else very simple. Okay, so other things you can do is, we talked about foreshortening before, and it's what you want to see in the characters. So we've brought the foot forward, and the foot's coming towards us, and that's greatly exaggerated, and then the rest of the body goes backward and goes to the back, and we don't really see much of that. But we see here, well, he's got a hole in his shoe, and he's walking in a particular way. So that's foreshortening. It's really important in designing cartoon characters. Okay, now building a face is, again, you've got to go through steps So just to start doing lines sometimes doesn't work, but to have a framework here of just doing a simple head and positioning where you think the eyes are going to go and where the center of the face is. Now, some cartoonists do an oval head and just straight lines, but I think because the head's round, I've been taught to do kind of concave lines. Okay, and then you position, you start putting some detail down where the eyes are going to be, the expression of the eyes, the nose is going to be along the center, how the eyebrows are going to be formed, and the mouth. And then you further pad it out with hair and ears. So we've got our eyes. I'm just doing this really simply just to save time. You know, you're sort of gazing off in the distance. He's obviously daydreaming about something. And then again, you start using your eraser, getting rid of some of these lines here. Again, I always use my pencil tool while I'm drawing. And think about his ears, kind of big. And his eyebrows are, he's just thinking. Again, we'll use our eraser to get rid of some of these lines. And put a mouth in. Okay, and then again you can, let's get some hair in there. So he's just got a little bit on top of his head. Get your eraser. Okay, so that's drawing heads. The next thing we want to look at is poses. Now, professional animators will do sheets and sheets of different poses of their character, and they usually will do a back, a front, a side, and a side, but also poses where they're bending over. And let's just get rid of that. Okay, so again you would do the same procedure of marking in where your lines are going to be. Now that's going to be a side view. So a side here, side there. So what does this character look like from the side? There's room for improvement with this. So she's very glamorous. She's got the ponytail happening. She's got a nice little scrunchie in her hair. And she has just a little nose. Even a smaller nose. Oh. That's better. And she's got her lippy on. Ears. Okay, I'll get a rubber eraser. Get rid of some of these lines. Okay, so these are different poses. You do this with the body. You'd probably, now I've also put in this module, I've put in some examples of different animators from like Walt Disney and Archie comics and a variety of things. They're all referenced, so I've actually just gotten them off the net, so if it's on the net, should be fairly, and it's referenced, so it should be okay to use if you want to just play with them and practice your different poses, but maybe get students to take it further, and then they could design their own car or their own comic book. This could be a whole course in itself, and I'm just touching the edges of this. So I hope you have fun with this, and I'll see you in the next module.